All right, guys, we just wanted to say hi to the Rose Quartz Madonnas. We love you guys. Thank you for coming to say hi to us. And thank you for always being there with your beautiful, loving rose quartz energy. We're going to head into the manifesting room now. And so we go down the hallway. I believe we go right by the Medway Bay on the way there, don't we, Fred?
Yeah, they're near each other.
Okay, yeah, I always thought so. I've always been meaning to have everybody draw a map of the layout of the place there to see how similar we see it, but we never get around to that. But I always think of the med bay as being on the way to the manifesting room, on the right-hand side of it, actually. Okay, so we get into the manifesting room. I want everybody on orange. 3, 2, 1. Be there now. And what kind of energies are we picking up in here today? Oh, somebody's feeling it. Ooh, I'm feeling it now.
It's very bright.
Any of you guys see the purple beacon there, by the way?
Yes.
I see, yeah. I actually see purple wings.
Okay. Well, that's supposed to be me. But now, what other energies are we picking up here in the manifesting room? Is it a lot, a little? Is it one being? Is it 100 beings? What are you picking up?
I think it's two three, maybe three, very, very powerful beings, and their light is a multitude of colors, but it comes out as like electricity, color of electricity.
I have a feeling Lisa will know who these are, but I want to check in on Fred first. Fred, what are you picking up?
I feel like they're a bunch in the background.
Okay, like up against the wall?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think there may be a handful that are more up front.
Okay. And the ones in the background are just here to observe or maybe to add energy?
They're either here to observe or waiting.
Okay. Perfect. Lisa, yeah, Michael says he's picking up a couple, 3 real powerful entities. Are you noticing them?
I'm starting to have trouble again because my chest.
Okay. Just breathe, relax, and allow. We'll catch back up with you as you
I
catch back.
can't breathe that deep.
Just want to ask the beings that are here today to help us, to pull Lisa back up with us, to help her with her breathing, to clear her energy field, to clear her mind of any thoughts that are distracting. Just breathe in nice and deep through your nose, Lisa, as deep as you can. Just let that go through your mouth. Just relax and allow. Engage your knowingness. These energies are all very positive energies, although they are strong and overwhelming. They're very positive. You need not be afraid to connect to these energies. They're beautiful and loving. They have come to help us today. Relax. Tune in. There you go. Let it go. It's not too much for you. You're built for this. This is good practice. I want you to connect with these individuals, to feel them, to be with them. All right, so the floor is open to whoever wants to answer this. Does this seem like angelic energy to you guys, or is it more ETs or something different? Could be ascended masters. I don't know. Could be a lot of things.
I get the impression they're ambassadors. They're
not from this universe.
right.
Wow.
I see these beings, they're literally made of electric. They're like walking humans, but not inhuman. Like they're shaped like humans, but it's electric.
Sure. Being electric, they can shape themselves any way they want, I'm sure.
That's exactly what I'm seeing, and that's why I saw them in the color that I saw them in initially.
Right, just brightness, just energy.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And they came here from another universe to consort with us today?
They knew we were coming. They were waiting on us.
Wow. Thank you guys so much for being here. Would it be okay if we asked you some questions and talked to you and got to know you?
Yes, they'll allow it.
Thank you very much, very much. Them being from another universe, Lisa, does that make that easier or harder to connect with them? Are you able to understand them and resonate with them and feel them?
I'm having all kinds of trouble today in general. So
Okay.
that's not a good question to ask.
Fair enough. It's been a chaotic day for us.
Right now I'm just trying to look around and try to keep my chest clearer.
Perfect. Okay. All right, Michael. Will you see if one of these beings wants to kind of step forward and be the main liaison for us that we can talk to?
Yes, they're listening. There is.
Thank you very much. And I take it they have a unity consciousness. Is that what I'm feeling?
They do. They do, and we're not supposed to connect with them the way we would connect with Michael or Metatron or Raphael.
Okay.
Yeah, they can't touch us. They would
Right.
hurt us.
They can't. They're not going to enter our consciousness, so our conversation will be limited.
This way, from a distance. Okay. Thank you guys for that. You know, I'm used to doing things a certain way, so I appreciate you for letting me know that. Before we maybe start asking questions, I would like to open the floor to you and see if there's any opening message you would like to give to us, a greeting from where you come, or anything else. Something you'd like to say to us.
Crystals.
Talk to us about
Very
crystals.
important.
What do we need to know about crystals?
Everything and anything we can. Somehow or another, they're a very
Okay.
crucial part of this transition from 3D
Okay.
to 5D.
Crystals contain light, and all the light's gonna go to 5D. So we need to preserve the crystals. All the crystals are gonna move to 5D.
Okay,
Well,
that makes
well,
sense. Is this why sometimes people can pick up a crystal and they feel an energy or a vibration from the crystal? Is because it's already in 5D or something like that?
No, that's just psychometry.
Okay, excellent. So it's just that there's a vibration there and some people feel it and some people don't.
Yes.
And these entities from this other universe, you know, we were just in talking to the rose quartz Madonnas, the people that imbue rose quartz with its beautiful energy. Is there any particular type of crystal that these beings give their energy to? Or a crystal that would vibrate something similar to the way they do?
I don't think so. I don't think so because
I wouldn't think so because they're from
so
another
very
universe.
different. Yeah, they're so very different. It's
And can they talk to us about how will the Earth cross through the fourth dimension, what we call the astral plane? How's that process going to work from their perspective?
they don't care one way or another, really.
Okay.
It simply doesn't.
And
really.
I'm kind of feeling like they haven't been sitting here watching the Earth's transition the whole time. They're not super interested in it like a lot of other beings are. They just simply came here today because essentially we compelled them to be here or asked for their presence.
That is true. It
Okay.
makes no difference to them.
Thank
one
you
way
for
or another.
coming. We don't always know. What's that?
They don't. They just they're complacent but curious, and they have a.
Right. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So, right, being from another universe, whatever happens here on Earth isn't a big concern to them. They've got plenty of things to worry about in their own universe.
That's
But they
right,
just
and
kind
the
of came
difference-
today because
Well, because
Mhm.
they came today for several reasons, and one of them is that because of the Earth and its changing and its ascension and all the beings in that in this realm, it does affect them somehow, but I'm not sure how. So, but prior to this upcoming event in time, they really have no interest here.
Okay, very interesting. And now that they're aware of it and that we've brought them here, is this something they're going to be paying more attention to, or will they just kind of go back to what before when we're doing today?
They'll wait. They'll be here when we want to talk to them again.
Wow,
Be
that's
here.
awesome.
We'll
Kind of
continue to be
energy.
here.
Say it again, Lisa.
They're different.
Yes.
Probably, I don't even know how to describe it. They're very, very different.
They have
And
different
it's like they
perspectives,
they
different.
went so long or forever without having changes, and the changes here have sparked even like the tiniest changes in where they are, and they don't know if they like it.
Interesting.
It's funny you said that because I get the feeling that they're not particularly thrilled about being here, but they're not particularly thrilled about being summoned, but they're here because it does affect them. What's coming will affect them because it'll be like a ripple in a pond effect, and it will eventually affect their universe.
Because as our Earth ascends, that's going to send a wave out through our universe. And then as our universe ascends, it will rub up against their universe.
Yes.
Just as we can say that our Earth is one cell in a much larger being, we can actually say that our universe is one cell in an even larger being.
It is. That's what they said. They said yes. I said yes, absolutely.
It's like the macro version of the law of one.
Mm-hmm.
But their universe has a different creator than our universe. Is that correct?
But those creators have the same creator.
Ah, there we go.
Law of one
So it's
trickles.
like the source of all.
It's another source of radiant essence,
Man.
which goes back up to the source of absolute consciousness, which I'm assuming would trickle up to something.
Wow.
Source of thought. I don't know. So the source of.
Wow, very interesting. Now I've only been to had one session where we went to an alternate universe. This is a universe where we encountered an entity called the Great Watcher in the sky. It's a big floating eyeball. Said he was the creator of that universe. Is that the same universe that these guys are from, or are they from a different one?
I'm getting different. I said different. It's not the same.
Different. Okay. And could you guys explain to us, are the laws of physics the same there as they are here? Does light travel at a set speed there? Do you have gravity there? What we perceive as gravity?
No, they do not.
Are there mothers and fathers there? Is there up and down there? So it sounds like there's many differences between our universe and theirs. Is there any similarity between the two universes? Are there planets and galaxies and suns?
The similarities is that energies and frequencies are as important there as they are here. And that's why they're here today too.
So resonance and vibration.
Resonance, vibration, and also creator. The love, they understand.
And so that would mean love, yes. Do they have any other emotions there in that universe?
They're so far ahead of anything we can comprehend. They're having a hard time explaining, conveying. It's not that they're having a hard time, it's that we're having a hard time because we're limited by our
right
experiences in our reality.
Yeah.
Even when we're in this state.
I'm seeing them have like complete control over pretty much everything within. I don't know how to describe it. I'm just seeing, and they could like they could just like tear into another reality.
Yes, they control.
Kind of like
there's no physics. There's no
and just
gravity,
walk through and zip it back up.
Mm-hmm.
They're powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that stuff's actually really easy to them. It's just like swimming in water to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier.
So the universe, right, and the universe that they're from would be older than this universe then.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that our questions are so inadequate to beings like this. That's the real reason they can't answer them. It's because they just don't apply.
Because where we are now, like they can't even really, it's hard for them to remember,
Unlike the rose quartz
Right.
Madonnas, where they can come and lower themselves, our state or capacity to understand our state. These guys, they're not interested in that.
No, they would never understand the point of that. They'd be like, why would anybody do that?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no growth that they would get out of it.
Right. There's no logic in it for them.
Okay. Michael, something just happened to your phone. There you go. There you go. Fred, talk to me about these energies. Do you feel them, see them at all?
I'm not getting much on this one.
Okay, that's fine. And that's so it's funny because these guys feel it so strongly.
And I feel like if they were to like get too close or actually touch me, it would feel hot, but like icy hot, like if you were to get a cold burn, but like a really bad cold burn where it would act, it's like so hot it circles back around to being cold.
I'm resonating with that.
Okay.
Yes, that's very true. And in fact, they don't really have eyes to look with in our sense of understanding, but they're purposely not focusing their energy on us directly because it would destroy us and the Hall and every particle in this universe, which would be easy for
Oh my
them,
goodness.
they said.
Yeah, that's the exact reason I was told to not go to other universes in case I brought something like that back with me.
Mhm.
So we would just like to say thank you guys for coming. We appreciate you, and we send you much love and gratitude, not destroying us or our universe.
And we honor you.
Yes, we honor you. Thank you so much. We apologize for our ineptitude and just being the lowly beings that we are, but we do appreciate an opportunity to interact with some such as you. It does help us with our growth, and so we thank you for that. Michael, you said they came here for several reasons. Can you give me another reason they came by here today?
They were asked to, not by us either.
Oh,
They were summoned. We wanted them here. They came. But something else wanted them to come too, and something that was very important to them.
something
Yeah.
bigger?
Something bigger, which is hard to imagine.
Right.
But they're speaking.
And this
about,
other thing that asked them to come today. Go ahead.
well, that's pure energy. It's pure. It's just. It's the source. Maybe Mother Gaia. Another reason.
This
is,
other
like
entity that asked them to come by. So this other entity that asked them to come by, what was its agenda? What did it want them to do? Why did it want them here?
It wants.
What was it hoping for?
It wants them to have an accord with us. I keep getting that word accord. That's why I keep seeing it. I keep feeling it right in my brain. It's
So to make friends.
To a degree, yes, because we're going to see a change in all of the verses, the multiverses. I mean, the infinite number of verses.
Mhm.
This is important. This is very significant.
So are they being asked to help us through this transition on some level then?
To a degree, yes, and they are willing.
Or maybe help us after the transition?
Maybe both.
Okay.
For example, they keep telling me that when we go back to the hall next time, the hall will be different because of their presence.
The hall will be what?
Different. There will be a component, a new energy in the hall. There will be something in the hall that will remain after they're gone, whether they come back or not.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And is there a like a name to this race of beings that we could use if we ever wanted to call upon them for any reason?
I'm getting the pure ones, but I'm sure it's
The pure ones.
And all I'm hearing is the sound of water, gushing of water.
Like spring crystal, pure crystal water?
Yes, like just flowing water.
Okay. So could we make an agreement that whether or not you guys use names where you come from, if we were to call upon the pure ones, that you guys would come if it was agreeable?
They'll accept that.
Okay. Thank you so much, pure ones. We really love you, and
they would prefer to be summoned only when absolutely necessary.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for telling me that, because we don't want to be rude at all. We want to be polite. We appreciate you. So what would be a situation where we might need you, or, and one where we wouldn't need you? Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, if no one else can help you, then you call them.
Yes, but they say that there will be very few times that we will actually need them, because the angels and the powers and the energies that are existing in our current universe, in our space, are designed to do exactly what they need to do. They came here today. They were asked to by not only us but the higher, and also for that activation.
Mm-hmm.
So in a sense, they've
thank you very much.
Yeah, they say they've filled their duty, their obligation.
Yes. Okay. Well, we don't plan on bothering you guys either, so we appreciate you. I have two situations, though, that I would like to bounce off of them just for curiosity. One is, if during this transition process, if there were too much in the way of global cataclysms, that maybe they might be able to help with something like that if it came down to it, or there's other beings we'd call on before them for something like that.
Yes, they don't want to partake.
They don't care about that. Okay. And then the other thing I am curious about is with them being from another universe. First of all, does their universe have free will, or does it not a free will universe?
Free will really makes no difference there because of their elevation of consciousness. Free will doesn't
Right.
mean anything to them.
And my feeling is that when they're in this universe, they're also outside of free will as well.
Yes, they're completely separate.
That's the difference between them and anybody else we would call on.
Absolutely. They're glad that we recognize
Yes.
that. They want us to recognize that.
Yes.
Because you reach a level of understanding and wisdom that makes, you know, free will not free will. You're kind of beyond that.
Sort of
There are many-
obsolete.
You.
They say they're many steps above free will.
Right.
They said
So
if
see,
we could
this is the only thing we would.
They said that if we could understand it, they would view us as God's first child. If that's, and I don't mean Jesus.
Okay.
These are some of the
More
oldest
like
creations
probably
ever.
Ra or Isis.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that level,
Right.
it just
Mhm.
it can't exist because you know too much to go. You know, you
Mhm.
just you
See,
can't.
so this
I don't
is the
know how to-
only time we would actually go ahead.
I said I don't know how to explain it in terms you'd
Okay,
understand it.
so
But that
what I'm understanding is that the only time, see, because the only time we would call on these guys is because we have entities that can do pretty much anything. We know everybody, right? And we know who to call on and when, and there's always going to be somebody there who can do almost everything. But at some point, if we were to ask somebody, can you do this? And they would say, well, that's a violation of free will, so I can't do it. That's what these guys would be for.
Yes, yes, and also bridging. Somehow or another, they're crucial, and they will be when the time comes. Bridging one universe to a next. I don't know if I'm explaining that the way they're sending it to
Oh,
me,
so
but they're like a conduit, but not a portal. They have a power to activate everything
Right.
in certain universes.
right.
They tell me if we want to talk, we'll understand it better to talk to Metatron. He knows who they are.
You can explain them to us. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you guys so much. So what I'm gathering now is that as the planet ascends, then our universe raises in vibration, and when our universe raises up to a high enough a vibration, it may actually be able to merge with theirs.
Yes, precisely.
Right, and that's when we would really need them, or potentially, as part of that process, really. And they're just here ahead of time to kind of get to know us, to make themselves known, and just kind of get a feel for the place.
And for the activation too. It's
Oh yes,
four
thank
of
you
us.
very much. These activations that we've received today, how will we notice a difference in our daily lives after having received these?
We'll
Or
have to
will
look.
we?
We won't. Maybe it will be subtle, but each one of us will have to look individually into ourselves to see that change, that activation. And
yeah,
the
there's been one kind of dancing around me, and like when you look closer to it, I could see like all these things, and it's reflective. Like its surface is reflective. First, I saw a mother holding a child, and then I don't know. I saw all these different things on his face and body and stuff, like reflective. I don't know what the meaning of what it was showing me.
From where these guys view things, time is not a factor. So if I
Time
was
does
say,
not
can you look
exist.
forward in time, there would be no difference than looking straight at us.
Yes.
Okay. And
They like
there's
Fred.
something else. I had another revelation.
They
They
like
what?
you, Fred. They like you, Fred.
Okay. I think I might have actually gotten an activation from them at the beginning of the session.
Yeah, they're smiling at
Oh,
you.
wow.
Okay.
You know,
I
it's
felt
funny, Fred, because I felt like the reason you didn't notice them was
Uh-huh.
because you kind of resonated with them in some way.
why I didn't notice them is because I resonated with them.
Yes, because they're so similar to you, you can't see them outside of yourself.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Michael?
I think that's very, 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 very close to being correct. They like him specifically for something, one of his traits, and I don't mean emotional traits or personal traits, something about his metaphysical DNA, his metaphysical his state of being.
Okay.
Yes. And when because of the way his higher self is and his guide is, they're very matter of fact.
Very logical,
They don't
like
seem
they
like
are.
yeah.
Very
It's not
logical.
complicated as much as other.
And the other revelation that I was having was that when I asked, how will we know the difference in our upgraded selves moving forward? The answer is it'll be different for all due to the way our DNA is and the level of our higher self's development, not ours.
Yes, they strung out the DNA stream and they showed it to us. And each one for each person is different, but it is genetic.
Okay. So would they have done what we call kind of activating some of our dormant strands of DNA
Yes,
or restored some of the disappeared ones?
activation of already existing segments of DNA, like a switch.
Okay.
So
So
that
kind of
we
what we
can-
call junk DNA that we think it's not doing anything, but
Yes.
it's really there for a reason.
Yes, and this DNA is going to be crucial. This activation of this DNA is going to be crucial to our further understanding of our transition to the fifth D. It's directly
Okay.
related.
So this will help us to be way showers in a sense, as well as to get there easier ourselves.
Oh yeah, that's right. Very possibly, yes.
Fred, Lisa, are you guys picking up anything after this long string of questions I'm asking?
No.
Good. Let's ask these beings, we've been under attack lately. We've been having a lot of roadblocks placed in our path. Is there anything they can do to help us to stay more pure ourselves and to stay immune to these types of roadblocks and attacks? Anything they can do to help with that?
I
It's our
think
main
they
problem
did.
today. They just did?
They
All
said
right.
they did, yeah. They said they did. What's done is done, and this is the aid.
Thank you guys so much. This is all we wanted today. Oh, that's awesome. I love you guys. Thank you, Pure Ones. So I feel like I'm done here for today. I just want to see if there's any other message that they want to give us before we go.
Discernment. That's one thing. That's their last message when we were discussing earlier about how we should, keep to ourselves and keep to our unit as more so than
Mhm.
and that's they're implying, they're emphasizing that, and then they say they're ready to go.
All right. Thank you, guys. We will stick to our what we call our soul family or our little group of friends, our inner circle. So when they're talking about discernment, they're talking about who to try to help and who not to try to help. That's what they're talking about
Yes,
specifically, right?
Yes, specifically that.
Okay.
We are supposed to continue.
Yes. And
Everything that we're doing, we're on the right track, and that's why we're seeing the energies that we're seeing come into play. But,
right.
But we needed to see them for the activation. We needed to understand them for the
Okay.
further knowledge of discernment.
And I just want to ask a little more depth about the discernment in general. How do we know who to help and who not to help? If that's a specific topic of discernment, how do we use our discernment in that situation?
That was part of the activation. You'll know it.
Oh, okay. So we're just
It's
gonna
already in you.
we're gonna know now. We're gonna say, oh,
You will know.
and also those people will be kept away from us. They won't be drawn to us. They won't be clingy to us.
Well, they may still
We'll be more
drawn.
able to.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you have to use discernment if something is going to be just too big or it's going to put us out, or remember you can only do so much.
Yes, but because of the activation, not only will you know how to discern what from who, but you'll also be more prepared and more equipped to handle those that you do decide that discernment does not apply to. It's a two-part activation.
All right, you guys. If you guys all want to say thank you to the Pure Ones before we go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Yes, thank you, Pure Ones. We really appreciate you guys. Oh man, I'm feeling tingles everywhere right now too.
Me too. All over. I have been for the
Actually
last 10
appreciated
minutes.
that.
Particularly on my left side, my left thigh, my left elbow, my left side of my face.
And I feel like I just want to hang out with these guys. No, but I don't want to bore them. So, thank you, Pure Ones, for coming through today. And we want to thank everybody else that came through to help us with insight and guidance and activations and all these things. Wide awake.
Well, that was intense.
Yeah.
That was really very powerful. At first, it seemed very heavy, very, I don't know. But boy,
one of the things that Lisa and I have been discussing, and you touched on this just a little bit in the session, Michael, but due to us being on our path so well is the reasons that we're running into the energies that we're running into. And what I was talking to Lisa is that whenever we go to do something, these days we seem to go right to the top, like above what we used to think was the top, So if I want to talk to Jesus, I get Sananda, Jesus' higher self. When we went to your higher self, we got the highest version of your highest self standing right next to God, right? As we were standing right in front of him. And one time Lisa's going for her highest guide, and which we think of as Archangel Michael, and it ends up being the seraphim named Michael. And
who's coming around, everybody.
There's a reason for
hi,
that.
Kitty.
Everybody, I don't know if you guys can see Athena. Yes, Athena's right. Yep.
Mm,
Yeah. Look at her grabbing my arm. And then Hikaki's
She was
right.
there the whole time, though.
Most of the time.
Yeah, God just now.
Hikaki's on my right, and then Feynman just woke up as I woke up on the cat post. Ow! Don't bite your mommy!
Maybe he was on the call remembering with you, too.
He was. They all
I'm
were.
surprised nobody said, hey, I see a cat around here.
Well, they did, but when they're there, they're not. They don't look like cats. Interesting.
Right?
It just occurred to me.
Yeah.
They're very.
Yes, no, you're
Yeah,
right. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right, Kelly. When you're what you were talking about just a moment ago, because of our level or our state or place among our path, you will always from now on until the full shift, manifests. We will always go straight to the top, each and every one of us. And to top it all off is that, and another part of that is because of the actual, it's like going from first gear to third gear. We're accelerating. Everything is accelerating. And particularly Lisa, particularly Fred, we're all doing something that is manifesting greatly, whether it be it by destiny, chance, or self-induced. Doesn't matter. It all comes out in the wash is the same.
We all always have the intention of doing things that only achieve right actions and right results. And we've been doing this for quite some time now. The speed of the growth has never changed. If anything, it just sped up. But I mean, since the day one we started doing stuff, and Fred's been with me, he's one of my first 2 or 3 people I ever did any kind of session with. And, well, actually might have been 10th because you got put off a little bit. But, I mean, you see the growth in all of our friends around us, and the speeding up of things, and the greater intensity to everything we do.
Yeah.
It's like the last time we did grid work, that Roman Coliseum one was just so many levels of magnitude beyond anything we'd done before. It's just the way everything is now, and it's going to continue to be. And what makes it so neat is that you think you've seen it all, and then you see something new, that you just had no clue that there was.
Absolutely. And I can't help but to, I feel like this is being laid upon me to tell you right now, because of that, and because we are, going in the direction that we're supposed to go, because the universe and all of the, I just should say multiverse from now on, because that's what I'm speaking of, because
Sorry, look how cute.
They're starting to all move very quickly. So we're going to see an intensification of not only ourselves and the right, but also the wrong as well. And that includes the energy that is the opposite of the spectrum of ours. So, just like today with you not being able to find a plane ticket, when we got on the phone initially, man, I could see your aura was very, you were in a bad, not a bad mood, and maybe you were, but rightfully so, but it greatly affected you more so than normally because of the intensity of everything else. So that's just part of the workings. That's
like in Telos, they say that like you can't go down there unless you're like 5D like all the time, because if you have even the smallest issue or insecurity, it would be amplified so much that you couldn't really take it for more than a couple of minutes. So I kind of feel like it compares to almost like if you take mushrooms or if you take a psychedelic, how you feel great unless there's something wrong, and then that's amplified.
That's a good reference.
Because what do
Right.
psychedelics do? I think psychedelics take us to the higher astral plane.
Absolutely.
A lot of people think that. Yeah.
Usually, unless you feel bad, it's lower.
I'm still feeling a lot of energy in me. It's like
I
trying to
feel like
trickle
my
out right
eyes
now.
got big.
I feel I'm definitely, I feel like, I'm seeing, like, just even looking through my eyes and registering what I'm seeing out, it's just in my little space right now. It's there's difference, and that's part of that activation. And what about you, Fred? There was something unique about you. There's something very special about you for them. I don't know why they didn't tell
Uh,
me.
well, I know in this session, like for the first half, I had I had a lot of energy coming through me. That was pretty consistent. I was like kind of jittery throughout most of my body, and towards the end of the session, I think maybe I got an activation from the very beginning, and then maybe that happened so that they could concentrate.
And you were just processing it
Yeah, and
through
then
the beginning.
and
they
then
knew that.
okay, maybe that's what that was.
Mm-hmm. So how do we feel, guys?
I feel good about
I
this.
feel much better.
Mm-hmm.
Just like always, blown away.
Yeah.
Blown away, blessed, call it what you want. It's never a dull moment, right? I mean, no matter how much I have something planned or dialed in, there's always surprises waiting. I mean, these questions that we have for today, fairly mundane stuff. Even the ones that were really interesting, me and Lisa pretty much figured that we knew the answers anyways. You know what I mean? But, and yet somehow the session ends up being super interesting, beyond my wildest imagination.
Even could have ever thought.
Yeah, I agree, and I think I think that the whole whatever reasons manifested the session was whatever prompted it from our end was already pre-designed, because those beings had to do something to us, and it was very, very, each one of us, and they may be different for each one of us, more than likely they are, but it's still very important for our capacity to continue the ascension.
Well, whatever called them there did not have the power or could not use their power to do what they did for us.
Because the power that called them there would have never done that in the first place.
Because
they are so unique.
it was universal law.
Mm.
I feel
Universal law. It comes down to free will again.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because they didn't ask us if we wanted an activation. They just gave it to us.
No, they didn't. They're like, oh, it's already been done. That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
No, but they knew that would happen.
But if we do these sessions, it's kind of assumed that we would want something. We would want an activation, right?
Well,
really?
My head is just too much to take anything else, and I was feeling like that earlier.
Okay.
Because
you can see Archangel Michael 20 times.
Like you got the pulsing up here, and it feels like you have a tight headband on your head. Something like when I have days like that, I can't take anything else. I need to wait.
Okay.
Metatron's probably a better example. Even you can see Metatron 20 times, and then one day you go, "Oh, hey, can I get an activation or upgrade?" I'd be like, "Yeah, why didn't you ask? Could have asked 19 times ago. What do you want?" "Oh,
Okay.
well, I want this." "Well, you're not ready for that." "Okay, well then I want that." "Okay, you can have that." Right? And literally, he would not ever come up to you and say, "Hey, do you want an activation?" Because that would influence you.
Okay, you have to ask for it.
And from him, that would be a violation of free will in a sense.
So what was
how could say no to Metatron?
Clearly,
you know
something was activated in this session that was not requested by us. It was something that was
absolutely not
already, So I think there might be some importance there. I don't know. That seems pretty significant.
Yeah. Now, however, you guys, we have seen this happen before, where entities are in the manifesting room and they have no fucking clue what they're doing there, right? And we'll go, "Why are you here?" And they'll be like, "We were compelled to come here."
Right.
Like I was playing checkers with my boy, and poof, I'm here. I mean, like literally not like, "Oh, would you like to come to the Hall of Remembering?" They're like, bam, they're there. And because we compelled them to come there. And so in a sense, when they say we requested their presence, it's due to the way that we set our intention going into the session. I'll probably edit this out. I mean, not that anybody has their own Hall of Remembering, but we always get that. I mean, we set our intention in a certain way so that we get the right entity. And a lot of times they don't even know why the fuck they're there. They just know, like, well, what do you want? This must be your fault. Mm-hmm. Right? I was compelled to be here. And for us to be able to do that to beings that are so much more powerful than us, and even from an entirely another universe. Now, those guys there it's not like they had no choice in the matter, but they were pulled so strongly. They were like, well, fuck, let's just go see what it is. Who is that's doing this?
Yeah, they were scheduled almost.
And then
in a
they're
way.
there, and you guys are like, they're a little pissy, right?
Mhm.
They're a little pissy. They're like, why are these ants yanking us around? Don't make no sense.
Right. And I guarantee you it's a direct correlation to, upcoming events and our capacity to live through those events.
Yeah, it must be, because that's what like the first half of the session is about.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yes.
got to be.
And it's a statement to the level of practice that we have, that we've done this time and time and time again, because we get better every time. You know that. I say this, Fred. The more times we do it, the better it gets.
Yeah.
Every time. Right? And it speaks to our level of mastery. It speaks to our level of purity of heart, because you'd be the badass ass on the planet, but if you're not pure, nobody's going to come for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the purity of our intent, it speaks to that. You need all of those things to come together for you to be able to do what we just did.
Because everything comes from the heart. When you manifest, it's not because of what you're thinking about per se. It's about what you think through the heart.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Those guys, where they came from, the only thing they have in common with us really is love.
That's really it.
That's like the universal constant.
That's really it. I mean, because they don't care about free will. They know nothing of time, even though they know everything about it.
Right.
But it doesn't apply to them. It simply doesn't.
There's several steps above free will, but they're not above love.
Because nothing's
pretty
above
deep,
love, I
you
don't
know?
think. But yeah, that's amazing.
Evidently, I think that's one of the things we learned today, is how important that is. And yet, we still have to use our discernment.
Isn't
They didn't
that
tell us to
something?
go out there and love everyone.
Right.
Because love of self
They
has
said,
to come first.
you guys are important. What?
Love of self has to come first, because if it doesn't come first, then we fall apart. And for what? To help someone that much at our own expense?
It's a waste. It'd be a waste of resources.
And then we take away from the multitude of other people we could have helped while not draining ourselves.
That's really important.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Fred.
I was just going to say, I was a little surprised they said that, like, in a sense, that some people are too far gone to help now.
Because you didn't think you'd ever want to hear that, or that those types of beings would ever say that, right?
Yeah, that surprised me.
An angel wouldn't say that, most likely. They might say something similar, but they would have been tap dancing sideways around that issue.
Yeah, because it's their job.
I've been, as I see things, I have been thinking, how are they gonna get from there in this short a time from there? But I've been, kind of having faith. But
Man, I love that thing you said, Lisa, about the way they just unzip the universe and step through and zip it up behind them. And I said, It's like swimming through water. And you're like, oh, it's been easier than that.
Well, swimming takes more effort. You think about going like that and trying to float and then just walk through.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking like a fish, swimming when I was saying.
Those things are so far beyond, comprehension, because we're so limited in our capacity to, when we're in this vessel, our capacity of understanding and aptitude is really limited. But when you become, when you take metaphysical self and go out there, you do have a much better, much easier way of comprehending. You see what I mean? It's like you can feel it and know it more so than.
Lisa, I'm reminded of, I think it was yesterday or maybe it was today. I'm not sure, but no, I think it was yesterday. You were saying, have you started to figure out who you are yet, Kel? And what I say is like, that's who I am right there. That guy, the guy that does that shit. And I don't need a label or a name to go with it. I know who I am in that sense. You know what I mean?
Well, we came from another universe, and that's the first thing that came to mind when they came in.
Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah. Like Fred's higher self is really different from most higher selves that I talk to. And I always felt like he was from another universe. I feel like he might be in another universe.
We probably all are.
Yeah.
But I think I was, but they wouldn't tell me from where.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I don't know if you remember this, Fred, or if you were in this session, but we recently learned that about, no, you weren't in it. 1/3 of the souls on the planet predate the universe. So we were talking about the oldest of the souls. It's actually about 1/3 of them are here right now.
That's right. And,
Wow.
there's a difference between an old soul, an angel, and a being that we just got done speaking with. They're very different. You know, I know for a fact that,
Oh yeah.
you know, I've lived, you know, 1,000 lives or more. You know, I'm you know, spiritually, I'm an old man, but so is Kelly, and I believe Lisa is as well to a degree. And I think Fred, I think you're
Well, if
very
I am,
unique.
she is.
That's very true. You know, so
Right.
there's something about the unity of the four of us. You know, that was, it was meant to be just destiny for us to have this meeting today. And I think that
Yeah.
there's some real poignancy to it.
And I want to thank you guys so
Well,
much,
remember I said
Fred and Mike, for being here, for being able to
You're
do this
welcome.
today, and for just, you know, you guys pretty much, you were available so fast too. We appreciate it so much.
Oh, sure.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
It's our job.
We were bugging a little, bugging.
Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Right?
And,
Like,
you
Talking
know,
about
something cool's going down, I'm in, right?
it also harkens back to the brotherhood that is us. You know, there's a brotherhood that
Yeah.
bonds us. You know, very unique among all the others, and I think that's a huge part of it. But it was my honor to be here. Thank you, Fred. You're a good man. I'm really glad to have seen you today.
Oh, thanks. You too.
Well, you know, as the shit goes down, unless we want to be alone, it has to be us. You know, we have to band together as a soul family that we are, and so our unity is important, so that we have actually people that we can talk to. You know, when you know, Fred's starting to see weird shit in front of him, he's going to call Kelly and say, Kelly, I'm fucking seeing weird shit, man. And I'm going to be like, oh, don't worry, I was seeing that too. You know, it's funny you called me. I was about to call you too. You know what I mean? Right. And so we can relate to what each other's are going through. And even when we are having different experiences from each other, we're still going to be the ones we want to talk to, you know.
Exactly, and we're the ones that we're supposed to talk
This
to.
guy that wants this healing, well, tell me the story on him. Nah. Or, yeah, we can do that. Send him my way. All right, guys. Well, I'm like super wore out, man. I've had myself a freaking day today. But I'll probably look at this and put some of this up on you. I don't know. You guys tell me about this, right? I think there was a message that said, don't put this up, actually.
mhm.
I don't think they explicitly said that, but it's like the message to us was like, there's some people you can't help anymore.
Well, that's
Yeah.
all comes back to the power of discernment. And there's
Because Lisa was talking about if we put out too much information, we're putting a target. She felt it right on her stomach, right?
Oh, that's
You
right.
know,
That's right.
you know what though? You could put something on YouTube unlisted, so you could just share it with a couple of select people. Why don't we do that?
you will know what to share and what not to automatically now. Now
Yeah.
more so than you could have an hour ago, 2 hours ago. Even though you
Yes.
had proper discernment then, now you know more.
I mean, because literally, I would put this out there hoping that it would wake some people up, and the people that actually would need that would look at it and go, who does that guy fucking think he is?
Right. We
Yeah.
also
Where's
have
he
to
get off having
understand that
experiences like that?
yeah,
You know?
there are very few people left to wake up, if at all, if any, as they told us, you know, so that the ones that are going to be affected by it are the ones that are already somewhat awake, even if it's only the tiniest amount, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Believe this was the first time we went to the Akashic Records, and it was me and Fred, and I'm getting chills just thinking about this one. But me and Fred are Fred's seeing me and him up on the new Earth. We're on the outside of it. It's almost like there's a bubble or shield around it or something, but we weren't in the new Earth. We're on the outside of it, and there's like these golden bridges going down. And like we were sending these bridges down to people. And they
Oh,
were
I forgot
just
about
like,
that.
walking
Yeah,
by.
that's right.
Yeah, you were about to cry over that one, you big
I
sissy.
was because
Wow.
like hardly
Yeah,
anybody
you were
was like
super broke up.
because hardly anybody was paying attention.
Nobody
I-
was
I-
coming, man.
Yeah.
I
Because
remember.
what
Yeah.
I'm seeing is like a lot of the people that look like they might have you know, opposing influences, or you know, they're aware but not waking. They're starting to say things like, I don't need healing, screw healers, screw like that kind of thing. And they're kind of like resenting us for being awake and stuff like that, and having an expanded consciousness, and they're trying to pull other people down too.
Right. Because they themselves do not want to ascend.
Yeah, and like
it's
this
more
one person I was
comfortable
talking to
to-
the other night, he's like, I'm the omniverse.
You know, it's only you're a broken piece of one thing. I'm everything, you know, and you know, I ended up blocking him, but because I sent him a clearing and he was like, you know, I was like, look, I gave you a tool. I can't engage in this nonsense anymore. And then I blocked him.
Yep. Yeah, these people that we're talking about, they think they've already ascended. They think they are so enlightened that they're beyond enlightenment. I mean, like, they think they're like these guys we were talking to today.
Right. And they believe that.
Really?
Yeah.
And then there's these other people that are like so into embracing the darkness. I mean, and yeah, there is duality, and there's, you know, I mean, we all have more than one aspect of our soul and all these things, and the Creator made everything. But some of these people are so enlightened that they've kind of gone past enlightenment in a sense.
Well, that, you know, that part of that enlightenment is deceit. You know, for all of the, you know, I keep coming back to this in so many different aspects of my daily thinking about the, you know, and it does involve directly duality, but, you know, there's also a part that, you know, there's a whole group of beings, not just humans and mankind, but other beings out there that are just so wrong, you know, and they believe so fervently in their, like these guys that you're talking about, like the one you had to block last night. You know, these guys are so augmented. You know, they're so skewed from reality of what's really. They just can't, and they don't want to. You know, they just simply don't want to know, because they believe they already know. So why would they want to know anything else?
It's like they read some spiritual Facebook memes and read some, like, you know, half-truth websites and then mixed it with a bunch of stuff they've seen on TV.
And then swirled in a little bit of their own emotion and ego.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's more about what it is. It seems like what you're saying, Lisa, but that's not. I don't think that's what happened. I think what really happened is that they're an old enough soul that they should be enlightened right now, but due to the age of their soul, they're getting in the information that they're supposed to be getting in right now. But they're so wrapped up in 3D that information has got nothing to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense.
I keep getting the word corruption. I keep getting the word corruption.
Well,
Corruption.
yeah, some people have
right,
like,
exactly. So they're getting the right info in, where these other people are completely oblivious. But the ones we're talking about, they're getting messages, but they're so corrupted. You know, the eyes can only see what the brain can understand, and so what's happening is the information is coming in, but their corrupted eyes are not.
Yeah, not just the eyes, but the genes, the genetics. You know, the further I study and the more I understand, the more I realize that genetics plays a huge role in exactly what we're talking about, and corruption.
Yeah, so the soul is ready for this stuff, but the genetics are not corrupted or manipulated or whatever, and programmed to such an extent.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How important that programming is. I keep having more and more stuff come across my plate about reverse aging, but I just feel like it's not really
funny
a factor. I still think it's my time, but it's going to be coming in more and more as a thing.
And I don't think it's so much for others in the world, but for the soul family, it's very important, because I myself am experiencing a similar understanding. I keep, just like my mother, I was trying to tell my mother, talk to your hand, because her thumb, she's got arthritis, and I you should talk to it. You should definitely talk to it, and whether she does or not, that's not the point. But it keeps coming upon me that, and just like with you, Kelly, you're getting, it's important. It may not be important on the mass scale, but it's important.
I went to this body and brain yoga, and when we do our like stretches and do different exercises, she'd have us go, I love my knees, I love my arms. And I think that's good, because you're telling your body parts that you love them, and it helps it, without explaining that's why she did it. I think that's why she did it. And she had us do it.
I can't help but to get, I get the sense that, the talking to the body is beautiful on many levels, but there's a major importance to it, in that it's going to have something to do with our final ascension. And I don't know exactly what. I don't know why I'm feeling that. I could be wrong, but I feel like that's correct.
Well, we somehow, our fifth dimensional form is like the perfect version of ourselves physically. So we're gonna have to command our body. We're not just have to. We're just naturally gonna command our body at a point to be, at in a perfect state. I'm still not completely grasping how I'm gonna like grow teeth back and look like I'm 25 forever, but eventually.
The same way you did it the first time. You grew teeth in the first place, so why can't you do it again?
And I guarantee you that activation today has some correlation to that too. It plays a fundamental part. I just sense it.
Yeah, I felt that way too.
And I sent a kind of like a psychic message to them to activate any of our friends that weren't here that should have gotten it. Also, just so you guys know, I didn't say it out loud though, but I was getting ready to, and I just realized I didn't need to.
It's funny
If I started naming names, then I would have had somebody.
Yeah, they were greatly aware of you, Kelly. Those beings, they came right out, and I know Fred was in whatever state he was at, but they definitely noticed each and every one of us, but you two specifically, it's just unique.
I'm glad to hear that.
They liked Fred, but they were like, "How did you get us here, Kelly?" That's what they're looking at me about.
Yeah, they were.
Could you not just do that all the time, please?
Yeah, 'cause you're right. They were a bit pissy initially. Their reverence is so. I mean, they're so far above. That's like us playing.
I get a lot of that. Everybody loves Fred. They're like, "You motherfucker! How did you do that? Why are you doing that?" Right. You're lucky you're you, because we'd have vaporized anybody else.
All right.
I can't help but think about my mom. Like, what would happen to someone like her? Like, she was never religious, and like, she's a good person, and she has like a lot of love in her heart. She maybe has some pain to get through, like everybody else, but she's a very warm, accepting person, and but as far as like ascension and spirit and stuff, her attitude is just like she'll get quiet and just be and like pretend it doesn't exist. She'll like I sent her a video of an orb once. She was like, "Oh, the cat looks cute," and that's it.
I think we've gotten before that as long as if you are truly a good person, you still ascend no matter what your beliefs are.
Okay.
Right.
I
think
I'm
that
not
you
feeling that
ascend
way.
to a different. Well, see,
I'm not
I
feeling
can
that
feel.
way.
Now, what do you think, Kelly?
Because now that I know that we're going to be sliding through the fourth dimension in a physical sense, you've got to be a fucking wake before you can deal with that. That's going to be tripping balls, crazy shit. That's why the number is so small, because you have to be super awake and have done a shit ton of clearing, and you got to be all about grounding, clearing. And if you're not that person, you're not making it through. And maybe that person that she's talking about, we can go back and get them over time. But I think that there's being good and high vibrating, and then there's being that and awakened and being like really awake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so the ones that are
you gotta
high
be
frequency,
really awake.
Those that are high frequency and that are super awake, they're the ones, they're the ones that are going to make it through the transition to the ascension. But the others that are not, that are just still good people, good and loving, and there's just not their time. We can't really understand it right now, but they'll still be brought along, but not as sentient beings as such. Yeah, it's I'm feeling,
because when they get sent to that alternate reality or alternate timeline, okay, now first of all, there will be amount of time where we can come back and get some of those people, and when they see the new version of us, they may become a little more open-minded, and we have to wait until also the Earth gets up a little to the higher end of 4D before we would start coming back for them, so that they're starting to get their mind back where they've lost it for a little while. So there's going to be people that aren't ready right out of the gate that will become ready later on. We will be the ones going back to look for them and to find them and sort through find the needles in the haystacks. There will be other people that will come along, and they're going to be the people like what Lisa's describing, a good person that just wasn't aware or awakened. And then the rest are going to go to another place. And I heard it described as a universe or a reality. I heard you guys just in this session say that. And we've heard this before. And it's not like a punishment per se, but you're going to be there with a lot of bad actors and low vibrators. But I think somebody that's a high vibrator that just isn't aware or awake, The other thing that they might do is they may just drop dead. They're just like this, right? And they're going to go back up to this heaven, right?
Well, what about
and they'll decide where they want to incarnate.
what we read in that book about the ones that don't go up? Eventually, they'll be purified to the point where they don't even know who they are. You know, they're like new souls almost.
Yeah,
Well, that lends
and
to
that also sounds more like
Maybe
the book
that's
you're
how they
describing.
go into that new
Like,
reality. They don't go as their old selves. They go as almost like a new soul or a cycled soul.
yeah,
right, and that's why most people don't
Yes, because I
understand
think-
or experience reincarnation.
yeah. I think the ones that are the kind of the bad guys that are just completely unenlightened and not interested in this shit at all are the ones going to end up on the other planet, the other reality, the other universe, whatever it is. But the ones that are good souls that just aren't awakened, they're going to be sent up and purified, and they're going to restart life over again, and they won't have their memories and stuff, but they'll be able to go to a nice place, a nice high vibrating place, if that's what they want to do. They'll have options. The soul's eternal. Even though that body is gone, doesn't matter. They'll have options and ways to go. Where some of these bad actors, it's kind of like, you guys need to hang out together until you figure out that you guys ain't the kind of people none of you guys want to hang out with, if that made sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
And they're going to get a different form of purification.
You know, that's kind of what I said. I smell like a candle. Remember how I said I smelled different the other day, but I didn't mean like in a bad way? I smell like a scented candle.
Yes, I remember you saying that. You said, I smell clean in a weird way. And I was like, because of that bath you just took? And you're like, no.
Hey guys, I gotta go.
All right, Fred.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, let's.
All right. Thanks. It was good
I'm
seeing you
gonna
guys.
go ahead and end the session anyway.
See you, Fred.
All right.
Bye,
But
guys.
hey, good having you guys around. Everybody have a great day. Everybody wave bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Talk to
See you
y'all
on the flip
later.
side.
Talk
See ya.
to you later.
Mhm.